All right, in the previous video, I showed how to use an assignment tool to hold students accountable for doing the reading that they were supposed to do. This time, we're going to hold students accountable for their reading using the lesson tool. It's just a different way to hold students accountable. It gives different options for the teacher. So let's get started on this. So I'm looking at my course. I know I want to add a second read and reflect, only this time we're going to use that Article 2. So I'm going to go to my farm animals. There it is. And here is week 1. And, let's make it, there you go. All right, and it's this sample reading right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to get the link to it. I'm going to click copy and then done. So I've got my link to the second article, and I'm going to turn on editing right here. And then over here, I'm going to add an activity or a resource, and I'm going to add a lesson. And remember, if you don't see it, it's because it might not be showing up on your starred panel. It might be showing up in the all panel, and I star it because I want what I commonly use to show up right here. So I'm going to click on lesson. And let's call this Read and Reflect Article 2. All right, now here's where I'm going to give the directions. Step 1, download and read this article. And then I'm going to paste in the URL. And by the way, let's just copy it. Select it, click the link button. I'm going to paste in that same URL. Click open in the new window. There it is. And then step 2, then answer the questions, the reflection questions below. All right. And what's going to happen is that's the set of directions. And then we can, in the lesson option, whereas in the assignment option, you only have one thing. The students can write some sort of free response. That's it. With the lesson option, we can ask multiple choice questions, true or false questions. We can ask a variety of questions as well as provide free response. So lessons, this lesson option is a little bit more flexible than the assignment option for holding students accountable for reading their articles. Okay, so anyway, it requires a little bit more thinking though. So let's get started on this. So I've got the directions here. I'm going to expand all of my customizations down here because we have some customizations that we're going to have to do. First off, if I want to, there's a whole host of these things. Like what is it going to look like as the students are marching through their questions? Because you can have the students read that article and then ask 5 reflection questions if you want. And so is it going to, right here, display the ongoing score as they're marching through? What minimum grade to display menu? Oh, okay. So like if they're going to show their grade, what threshold does it need to show? I leave these off because I don't care. The default options are perfectly fine for me. But here is the thing. Let's see. No, I leave all of these as default. The availability, again, my philosophy is I leave everything available all the time because I'm dealing with adults who are students and they have professional obligations that may impact their deadlines. So I leave everything available all the time. I don't require any passwords and all that sort of stuff. Now, here is where it gets fun. So here's the flow control, and I'm going to click show more as well because we've got all these options. Allow the student to review. What this means, I'm going to click on this question mark and it says, if enabled, students can navigate through the lesson again from the start. I want them to be able to do that. Absolutely. I want them to read the article and not just march through this thing to get their points. I want them to have the freedom to make meaning of this article. So I'm going to put yes. Provide an option to try a question again. I'm going to put yes. So if they get the question wrong, I want them to redo that question to get it right. Now, how many times am I going to allow them to attempt that question before moving on? Let's say it's 3 times. They get 3 tries, 3 strikes and you're out, so to speak. And then after the correct answer, what do I want them to do? There are as we're creating the questions, we can tell the computer what to do based on the student's answer. Do they stay on the same page because they got it wrong, or do they move on because they got the question right? So that's called normal, follow the lesson path. And that's what we're going to leave that at. And I want them to show just one question at a time. So I'm going to leave it as a 1 right there. All right. That's the biggie. This flow control is where a lot of your experience is going to happen right here. Everything else is pretty straightforward. The grade, let's make it an 8 points, uncategorized, all that sort of stuff. Show more. Do I want retakes to be allowed? I'm going to say yes, yes, yes. I want them to be have the freedom to go through and get it right. And what do I want them to do with those retakes? Do I want them to use the mean, the average of all the scores, or just the maximum? Your choice. I tend to do maximum because I want my students to feel empowered, but your choice. And then the rest of these common module settings, we're just going to, of course, we're going to have it show on the page. And then the restrict, access, the tags, and the competencies we don't worry about in eLearn. And then it doesn't matter which one I'm going to click on. I'm going to click, in this case, I'm going to click Save and Display because I want to immediately start adding some questions. So here's the directions up at the top. Download and read this article and then answer the questions below. And this is where we are going to start the process of adding questions. So right here, add a question page. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to choose what kind of question I want. All right, I have so many choices that I can do. I could do matching, multiple choice, numerical, short answer, true or false, or an essay. So let's do a couple of true or false questions just to hold students accountable. So I'm going to call this, I don't know, chickens are ducks. All right, so this time I'm going to call it question 1 so that the students have a sense of where they're going here. So question 1, chickens are ducks. True or false? All right, there's my, that's the dumbest question ever. All right, so what's the correct answer? Well, the correct answer is false. What do we want to do when the student gives us the correct answer? We want it to move to the next page. We could say move to the end of the lesson, move to the previous page, stay on this page. But a traditional thing is if the student gets it right, we're going to move on to the next page. And if you want, you could give some sort of feedback. Awesome. I knew I couldn't trick you. All right, there it is. And we can have a little bit of fun right there. So that's the feedback that the students will get if they mark it correct. Now, the wrong answer in this case was true. And my feedback will be, oops, try again, read paragraph 4 or 3. R-E-A-D, read paragraph 3. All right, so there's my feedback. What do I want them to do if they get the answer wrong? I want them to stay on this page so that they could try again, and I'm going to give them 0 points. All right, I'm going to click Save. And there's my question, my first question. It's kind of big. If I want, I can collapse the view. So there it is. Chickens or ducks is the question title, and it's a true or false. What do? They either go to the next page or they go to the stay on this page. I can add a new page right here, add a new question right here, or in the expanded view, same information is just expanded, and I can then add a new question right here. So I'm going to click Add a Question. This time let's add an essay. So I'm going to add a question page. Call this Chicken Reflection Essay. Reflection essay, and let's just call this question 2. Write one paragraph reflection on your thoughts about chickens as pets. All right, there you go. So there's my essay question. Regardless, there is no right or wrong answer, so it's going to go to the next page. I'm going to give them 1 point. Once I grade it, I'm going to have to grade these by hand, whereas the true and false or the matching questions or the multiple choice questions are graded automatically by the computer. The reflection questions, the essay questions, I'm going to have to score as the grader. So I will either give students 1 or 0 points as I read their essays. I'm going to click Save Page, and I think I'm done. So I've got the directions up at the top. Here's the first question. It's a true or false. Here's the second question, which happens to be a reflection essay, and then I'm done. That's it. I can click Preview, and this is what it's going to look like. Chickens are ducks, true or false? I'll put true, and then it says, there's our feedback. Oops, try again, read paragraph 3. Yes, I'd like to try again. Chickens are ducks. This time I'll say false. I'll hit Submit. It says your answer was false. Awesome. I knew I couldn't trick you. And then we hit the continue button, and then we start. And this is where the students will write their essay, and they hit submit. In this case, nothing is going to show up because I'm the teacher, and only student stuff will show for this up here on the screen. So let's look at that. What is this going to look like from a student point of view? So I'm going to hide my Chrome, and here is the face. The Firefox means I'm logged in as a student right up here, fake student. And then here is my Read and Reflect article right here from a student point of view. So from the student point of view, they're going to click on it. Here's the article, and then here's the question. So they read the directions, they read the article. Now that it's time for them to answer the question. Chickens are ducks, true or false? Let's put true. Let's see what happens from a student point of view. It hits submit, and it says, uh-oh, you only have 2 attempts remaining. Remember, we said 3 attempts. You've incorrectly, what would you like to do again? Let's try again right here. And then chickens are ducks. This time, let's put false. And it says your answer was false and response was, woohoo, you're correct, yay. Okay, so I'm going to move on. And here's my reflection essay. So here is the student reflection. Boom, right there. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. I can even do multiple paragraphs if I want. All right, there it is. I'm going to hit submit. And then it says, from the student point of view, remember I'm logged on as a student. It says, congratulations, end of lesson is reached. You've got 1 out of 1 for your correct questions that can be computer graded, but now your essay is waiting to be graded by the teacher, okay? And so your current grade is half because there were 2 questions. One was automatically corrected. The other one is currently waiting for the teacher to score it. So this right here kind of freaks out some students because it looks like they're failing this assignment even though they did it. No, they're just waiting on the teacher to grade it. So teachers, you're going to have to coach them on what to expect. So now, speaking of what to expect, let's go and let's look at what this looks like from the teacher point of view in terms of grading. So here we are back in the teacher side. And as the teacher, I'm going to click the Read and Reflect Article 2. And somewhere I can grade these essays. So I'm going to click Preview. Oh, there it is, right here. Right here. So I'm not going to click Edit because that adds questions. I don't want to do that. This time, I'm going to grade the essays. So I'm going to press this button where it says Grade Essays. And I can see a running list of all the students whose essays need to be graded. And I've got a status symbol over here telling me exactly which ones I need to grade. So I'm going to click on Fake Student A so that I can read the response. And here's the response right here. And I could say, wow, great thoughts. Thank you for your efforts. Good enough. All right. And then I'm done. I'm going to give that student a 1 and click Save Changes. And look at that. It's now graded. Now, it's been graded, and I'm not sure what the student is going to see on their side. So let's pull over the student side. So here I am on the student side. And let me hide the teacher side. So what is the student going to see? Now it's been graded, but the teacher hasn't notified. It's right here, this button will notify students that it has been graded. It doesn't get, the notification doesn't automatically get sent. So let's see what happens on the student side without the notification. Click on the dashboard. I'm going to click on My Grades, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to Read and Reflect 2, and I can see right here that the student has received an 8 out of 8, which is 100%, even though the teacher has not yet notified the student that it's been graded. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. Yay. So now we know. So I'm going to get back out of the teacher mode, and I'm going to get into out of the student mode, and I'm going to get into the teacher mode. But here's what's going to happen. What you will do as a teacher, if you wish, I guess it's optional, you can then click Email Graded Essays or Email All Graded Essays. And when I click that, look at that. The graded status is now sent. And what that means is the student just received an email saying their chicken reflection essay was graded by you, and they can go check their grade. All right. So you now have two options for reading and reflecting and holding your students accountable for reading their articles. You have the assignment method and you have the lesson method.